Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Premier Perspective. Today, me and Ryan are here to talk about the 4-1 Manchester City thrashing of Liverpool. For anyone who's new here or for anyone who doesn't know, me and Ryan are both Man City fans, so today is a great day.
Beautiful day.
4-1 was the final score. Two goals of Gundogan, one from Foden, one from Sterling, and Liverpool had a penalty kick from Salah. To start off the game, I thought it was a pretty even match for most of the first half. Neither team looked amazing. It was a pretty well balanced game. Uh, Sterling gets fouled in the box. Gundogan unfortunately skies the penalty, which I kind of had a feeling that was gonna
Yeah, I
happen.
knew I knew it was gonna happen too. We
But
gotta
yeah,
get Xavi Pazmino on those pens. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, that's all I'm saying. But yeah, first half, that missed penalty was a bit upsetting, but I think for the overall picture, obviously it didn't end up hurting us, but the City definitely needs to figure out that issue because we've had a problem with penalties for a while now. But yeah, so that's pretty much first half. It was a pretty boring first half and a very exciting second half.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the second half. In the beginning of the game, for me, if you want to look at it overall, City throughout the whole game, Liverpool in that first half, both teams, like you said in the first half, played really well. City overall, City was able to finish it, and they were able to play exceptionally well that whole game. For me, Rodri was the most important player the first 20, 25 minutes. The way Liverpool came out and pressed, I was actually really surprised. I thought they were going to sit back a little bit, absorb the pressure, and try to play a Tottenham on him. Probably for the best that they didn't, even though it ended up not working out for them in the end. But honestly, I was kind of surprised to see Liverpool come out and actually play him, and they were playing him. City was playing against them well, but Liverpool, it was a little intimidating. I won't lie. Like coming at seeing that front three who can be so
Mhm.
dangerous, even though they haven't been in recent times. They can do stuff when they get on the ball, and seeing them press City's defense like that, especially with Zinchenko, who looked a little shaky in the beginning, got better towards the end. It was a little scary in the beginning, but aside from that missed pen, the first half, Gundogan, he played an amazing match with the 2 goals, and I'm not sure if he had an assist. No, I think that was Bernardo Silva, but um,
No assist.
yeah, but either way, Gundogan with I believe it's 9 goals this season, the club high. He's been just playing really well lately. And aside from the missed penalty, it was a rough one. It's going to come back to bite City. They really need to get it together in terms of pens, because in the more important games in the Prem, you can drop a point and maybe get it back later from another game or count on somebody else to drop points. But when it comes to the Champions League, that we need right now, we need that
Mhm.
Champions League this year because we're in the running for all four. It's rough right now, but in those Champions League games when it's away goal or everything is determined by a certain goal or where and when the goal was scored, penalties are going to be huge. So you can't just be missing pens like that and count on other people to fix it for you. So that's going to be crucial for them. They're going to have to really get that back in the future.
Definitely gonna have to work on that. But if we're talking about the positives of the game, I thought City looked great going forward. Defensively, I think this was the first time that they didn't look as sharp as they normally do. A really rare Ruben Diaz mistake led to the penalty for Liverpool. Definitely a foul there. Obviously, Salah exaggerated the contact, but 100% is a foul. And yeah, so that was the way Liverpool got back into the game after Gundogan's first goal, which was really put together well. Sterling, what I really saw from that play of the first goal for City was that Sterling got into that box way too easy. Alexander Arnold didn't really put too much pressure on Sterling. Sterling's able to get through, play the ball to Foden. Gundogan hits the rebound. So that was a good play from City. And then the tail of the second half was Allison. Allison had a stinker of a
He had
match.
a mare, man.
Yeah, so that didn't really help Liverpool with Salah scoring the penalty back to 1-1, 63rd minute. Things were looking positive for Liverpool. considering how they went down and they were pretty much gifted a penalty because of a bad City mistake. 1-1 was a good scoreline for Liverpool at that time with only 27 minutes left to go. But Allison made a big mistake clearing the ball. You saw him in the second goal nearly give it away to Jesus and then passed the ball away, which led to Gundogan's second goal off an assist from Foden. Yeah, from
It was Foden, and the other one was Bernardo Silva
yeah.
that came across.
And
That
then
was Sterling's
Allison,
goal.
and then 3 minutes later, Allison makes another mistake, and that's Bernardo hits it to chips it over the
Sterling.
goalie, and Sterling heads it in from a yard out. Good to see Sterling hitting goals from a yard out now after the nightmares I
Leon.
still have from the Champions
Leon.
League Lyon game
Oh,
last year.
stop, man.
And then to wrap it up for City and make it 4-1 was a magnificent solo play by Phil Foden. He made Robertson look like an average defender, and even though obviously I'm not a fan of Liverpool and they're a team that I don't really like, I have a lot of respect for Robertson because Liverpool turned him into, I would say, probably the best left back in the world.
For
And
sure. I hate
Foden,
Robertson, but you have to
he's
respect it.
amazing. And Foden just amazing play to
Just
make
put
it
him down.
4-1. But yeah, that pretty much sums up the game. Now looking at the bigger picture, City now are, if I'm looking at the standings, City are now 5 points above United with a game in hand. So the possibility of making an 8-point gap with 16 games left to go. Obviously, a lot of games left, but if you're looking at the form that City's in now, 10 straight Premier League wins. I think it's 13 or 14 in all competitions. Who's going to stop City anytime soon? I don't know.
And I think the stat for aside from wins, I think it's about 21 unbeaten in a row in all competitions.
Yeah,
And before you wrap up the game in general, I just want to add in terms of Liverpool, aside from Mane's chance in the first half, which is should have been on goal, that header,
definitely.
a couple of Salah dribbles, and obviously the pen. Salah and Mane seemed to be nowhere in that game. Same with Firmino, who played a little bit of a false nine at times. I just don't really care for the way they play him. Same with Thiago, especially Firmino. He had that one. It was really well taken. I have to give it to him, but he was pretty much non-existent for that game.
Yeah, besides that one strike.
Thiago, love watching. I'll say it every time we talk about Liverpool, and when Liverpool has a bad game, they don't let Thiago play. I absolutely love Thiago. He's one of my favorite midfielders in the world to watch. He's so talented on and off the ball. He can make magic when you let him, and they're not letting him. And that's why Liverpool's having such a rough time in the midfield. You see teams like City who have goal-scoring midfielders. They have Foden, who is able to drop back in that midfield, even though he plays as a winger most of the time, and Gundogan, who's been playing absolutely amazing lately. But if you're Liverpool and you're really trying to collect points and you're only 1 point ahead, I'm pretty sure it is, of West Ham, who's in 5th place right now. You really have to be careful, and you have to have multiple people that can score besides Salah, who can put away pens, and Mane, who can go on a run every once in a while. It's just you need more than that for Liverpool. So even though I really don't care for Liverpool, and especially some of the players on Liverpool, just the way they play and the way they are as players, they really have to get it together, because it's night and day from at this point of the season from what we saw from them last year.
Yeah, definitely. And right now is not a good time to go into a bad set of form. If we're looking at Liverpool's schedule for the near future, they have an away game at Leicester, away game at Leipzig for the Champions League, and then a home game versus Everton. Really tough 3 games coming up for them that they definitely need to work. They really need to work on themselves on the training ground if they want to become victorious in any of these games. Because if you look at least from a Premier League perspective, Leicester and Everton, if they were to, let's say, lose both those games, that would probably drop them out of the top 4, and that's not a place that they want to be in. And then Leipzig, we've seen how good they've been in the Champions League, so it's really going to be a tough battle for them. I think Liverpool are going to be able to just squeeze out of this form. I think they do have quality. There's no doubting that. But they definitely need to do it sooner rather than later.
I totally agree with that. And at that point, like you said before, City are 5 points clear at the top, with a game in hand on United, who is in second on 45, City on 50, and that puts them 10 points ahead of Liverpool, who sit in fourth and have to be careful of dropping out of that top four. United dropped points yesterday, right at the end of the game, to I believe it was a Calvert-Lewin goal
Calvert-Lewin,
for
yeah.
Everton, and Leicester dropped points today against Wolves as well in a rather boring 0-0 draw. Both teams had chances, but Leicester, it's a point we've always brought up. I like to rate Leicester, but sometimes they just don't put it together. And today against a team like Wolves, who has been struggling, you got to pick up those points there. So City, things are absolutely looking up for them at this point.
Yeah, and that pretty much wraps it up for us talking about this game. A lot of great Premier League games on the way. To pretty much sum up what's coming up in the next week for us, we have a FA Cup roundup video that's going to come out later in the week to talk about the FA Cup games that are taking place. So make sure that you're tuned in to check that out. And for anyone who's shown support, as we always say, thank you, and we'll see you guys soon.